Max, the one to watch for the best in entertainment, now has live sports with the Bleacher Report sports add-on.
5, 4, 3, 2, I let one go.
Stream hundreds of select live games from MLB.
That's gonna go!
NBA, NHL, U.S. Soccer, and NCAA Men's March Madness.
We just see what we think we just saw!
And it's all included for a limited time with any Max subscription.
He got him!
After the promo period, add it for $9.99 a month. Base subscription required.
Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
The following is a snippet of an exclusive members-only podcast episode for our Patreon, Chronicles Tifosi. Become a member at patreon.com/Serie A Chronicles for regular bonus episodes and content.
And everyone has question marks about Southgate, but he's navigated his way through all of this so well so far. He's unleashed the players when he's wanted to. I know people were unhappy that he didn't introduce Foden earlier. And I have question marks about him too on a tactical level. But what I like so much about him, I think as well, is that he is like a human. And sometimes that gets lost, because I think this is what he's done is change the image of England. Like he has made them a likable team. He has made them a team that you want to support till the end, and you forget everything that surrounds them, any controversy that we're not talking about wags or headlines or ridiculous negativity. It's just this team that has a lot of talent. I just don't know whether or not when it is against a big side, should we worry or should we start having more faith that this team can carry itself, because it does have a lot more experience than it obviously last World Cup. And now it's been a semi-final of the final of the Euros. Why don't we get excited about them?
There's some things, Mina, that there was a couple of stats I think, really sort of highlight how good they have been. And first of all, the obvious one, 3 clean sheets in 4 games. The only goals they've conceded against Iran were at a point when the game was completely out of reach, right? And I feel like that should speak to Mina and her preference for defensively solid teams immediately there. Having said that, that's a statistic and you can flip that around and say, okay, but within minutes of kickoff against Senegal went right through them. Was it Dia who had the shot clean through? If he scores that goal, different. I think the one that really jumps out for me in this England team actually is 12 goals scored so far, but the bit that jumps out is 8 different scorers. Harry Kane's got 1 goal. And if you go back to the last World Cup where they did reach semi-final, there was so much of that was driven by set pieces. So much of that was driven by what they got from dead plays. That hasn't been the case at all, I don't think, in this tournament. So the fact that they're getting goals from all different sources, from open play, I do think this is clearly a better team than at the last World Cup. And I would say a better team than it was at the Euros, because now look, yes, you've got Jude Bellingham coming in and dictating this last 16 game completely. And I don't think you could say Southgate is rigid, right? Because we've seen different formations already in this tournament. They went to the 4-3-3 for this game, and I think it was clearly the right choice because Declan Rice, as the extra holding player in the middle, gave so much freedom to Bellingham to get forward. And that was really effective in breaking a team down through the middle. In other games, you've seen them break teams down the sides. So they've got all these strings to their bow. Having said that, the next opponent is France. And actually, I think if you go player for player between these two teams, I'm not sure England's squad has to feel embarrassed in front of anyone.
No, I agree.
But, here is the but. You're still fielding a defense that I don't trust to not let players get in behind them. And if you're fielding that defense and Kylian Mbappe is on the end of it, or Giroud on this form is at the back of it, or if you've got Griezmann filling that space just in front of it, the damage that can be done with mistakes is so much higher. And I'm curious to see how Southgate manages that, because will Southgate go as he has in big games in other tournaments, as he did at the Euros? Will he flip to a back 3? And if he goes to a back 3, then what does that cost you out of all that brilliance and creativity going forward? You can flip this around and pick holes in France. I think we should do that in a second. But I think what really this sort of highlights to me and what's important about this England team is they've been brilliant, and every sort of measurable I could bring out with makes them look good. Any reflection on the squad looks good for them. It's a brilliant deep squad. But it's still true that in all Southgate's tenure, probably the only really sort of, I guess, team you would expect to be a tournament contender that they've beaten is Germany at the last Euros, and Germany were not good. So there's that question mark. Until they go and do it, there's going to be that question mark for me.
Yeah, as to whether or not they can really defeat. Also, I guess it's because a lot of the sides that they've played, from Senegal, obviously, to USA, as an example, even Wales, they haven't. Wales obviously have Gareth Bale, but this isn't the tournament in which you can highlight his brilliance. It's a team that was largely almost fatigued at the end of the line, trying to churn out performances that they really couldn't at that point. But none of them had this really fertile attacking lineup, one that could really pierce through anything. So it's been, I guess in that way, defensively, they haven't been tested. So it's one thing to perhaps if they came, Mehdi Taremi is about as far as we went to a clinical finisher. And then, there was a problem, albeit I agree with you, the game was already done and dusted. So I wonder how that will go out and what will happen when the team has to focus so much on defending that they cannot be unleashed as much going forward. Because going forward is where I think England excels. It's when they are off the leash, when they do have the confidence, when they do want to really push forward is when they're really fun to watch. I guess what's always scared me is whether or not if the game changes and you need to change your tactics to oppose that is where I worry about Southgate. He hasn't had to do that so far against the coaches that he's played against. But Didier Deschamps is somebody where it's going to be interesting. And I simply marvel at Kylian Mbappe. Like, I just think this guy is everything. Like, he's just everything. France is interesting to me because obviously, like you said, there are obviously weaknesses in every team. And I know that, it's so interesting. Become a member at patreon.com/Serie Chronicles for regular bonus episodes and content.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Capture the spirit of the holidays like never before with Rockbrook Camera, Nebraska and Western Iowa's premier camera store since 1975. Rockbrook Camera has the latest cameras and lenses, so you can preserve precious memories and learn new photography skills that will last a lifetime. Let the knowledgeable photography pros at Rockbrook Camera show you how to take great pictures of family traditions, the kids' sporting events, and the kids' big holiday musical. Rockbrook Camera is always ready to help with amazing customer support. Join one of their photo classes to learn the best tips and order a beautiful, custom-made gift from their photo lab. Capture the beauty and majesty of winter's snowy landscapes. Be prepared for holiday gatherings and be ready to capture all the family fun. Visit Rockbrook Camera today, 1 block south of 168th and West Center in Omaha, 70th and Pioneers in Lincoln, or online at rockbrookcamera.com. Rockbrook Camera. Great photography begins here.